Good evening, class. My name is Brittany Anderson, and I will be presenting the Uncertainty Reduction Theory, also known as URT. Uh, URT is based on interpersonal communication. In 1975, Charles Berger and Richard Calabrese created URT to explain the communication process when two strangers interact. They observed that people having feelings of anxiety during initial interactions because they are unable to predict or control how the relationship will process. There are 7 assumptions associated with URT, which are people experience uncertainty in interpersonal settings. Uncertainty is an adversive state generating cognitive stress. When strangers meet, the primary concern is to reduce their uncertainty or to increase predictability. Interpersonal communication is a developmental process that occurs through stages. Interpersonal communication is the primary means of uncertainty reduction. The quantity and nature of information that people share change through time. And lastly, it is possible to predict people's behavior in a law-like fashion. Why the uncertainty, you may ask? There are 3 reasons why people typically feel uncertain: anticipation of prior interaction, incentive value, and deviance. The anticipation of prior interactions is sometimes you may feel uncertain about others when you know you will see them again. Incentive value is in other situations you may feel uncertain about an individual if the person has something that you want. I think we all would feel that way. And lastly is deviance. You may feel uncertain about seeing a person that acts in an unusual way when you first meet them or the second time around. Now that we understand why we experience uncertainty, let's discuss the different types of uncertainty, behavioral and cognitive. 2 types of uncertainty. There's cognitive uncertainty, which is an individual experiencing behavioral uncertainty, questioning how they should act in a situation. Behavioral uncertainty occurs when you are more concerned about other people's behaviors. Why do they act like that? And should you adjust to how you behave around them? There are 2 processes involved in the process of URT, which are proactive and reactive. Proactive uncertainty is the attempt that we make to reduce uncertainty before we gauge ourselves in a communication episode. Reactive uncertainty is the process of analyzing the situation post-interaction. Like, how did the conversation go? Did we have a good time? Berger and Calabrese proposed a series of axioms to explain the connection between the central concept of uncertainty and key variables. The 7 axioms are verbal communication, welcoming nonverbal communication, information-seeking behaviors, intimacy, reciprocal communication strategies, perceived similarities, and shared communication networks. They use these axioms through pairing the axioms. They created the 28 theorems from the axioms. The 28 theorems suggest a comprehensive theory of interpersonal development based on the importance of reducing uncertainty in human interaction. Now, there are guiding principles of URT, which are, number 1 is the efforts to reduce uncertainty are linked to the likelihood of future interactions. Principle number 2 is uncertainty in initial interactions with strangers increases if they violate social norms. Principle number 3, uncertainty is increased when people we know violate the expectations we have for them. And principle number 4, uncertainty can be reduced by knowledge acquisition. Now, there are stages of relational development with URT. There's the entry stage, which is the relational development is characterized by the use of behavioral norms. The level of involvement will increase as the strangers move into the second stage, which is the personal stage. The personal stage occurs when strangers begin to explore one another's attitudes and beliefs. Emotional involvement tends to increase as disclosure increases. Then you have the exit stage. In the exit phase, the former strangers decide whether they want to continue to develop a relationship. If there's no mutual liking, either can choose not to pursue a relationship. Understanding the cycle of relational development is key to studying how people seek to reduce uncertainty about others. There are two strategies with URT, which are passive strategies and interactive strategies. Passive strategies, this involves the observation of interactions to others or when inhibitions are lowered. Active strategies make an effort to reduce uncertainty without actually interacting with a person directly. In interacting strategies, you interact with a person face to face. There are incentives to reduce URT. Berger suggests that an individual will tend to actively pursue the reduction of uncertainty in an interaction if any of the three conditions are verified. Anticipation of future interaction, a future meeting is a certainty, and the incentive value. They have or control something we want. Understanding the strategies, people engage in passive, active, or interactive strategies to reduce uncertainty with others. Strategies are seeking information, focusing on primary goals, contingency planning, plan adaptation, accretive planning, and framing are often utilized by human communicators. According to Berger, if a person were to observe another in their natural environment, intentionally unnoticeable, to gain information on another would be characterized as a passive tactic for reducing uncertainties. For example, watching someone in class or the cafeteria, any common area without attracting attention. An active strategist result to means of reducing uncertainties without any personal direct contact. For example, if one were to ask a friend about a particular person or ask a particular person's friend for some information without actually confronting the person directly. An interactive strategist would directly confront the individual, engage in some form of dialogue to reduce the uncertainties between the two. These strategies are meaningful to communication studies in the way that people's unique capacities for forethought and planning and their ability to monitor carefully ongoing communication episodes. It is very valued in the communicative process. URT has also been studied within different cultures. The study has shown that intercultural communication apprehension, the fear or anxiety with intercultural communication is positively associated with uncertainties. In addition to that, socio-communication orientation refers to people's ability to be a good speaker and a good listener, and is negatively associated with uncertainty in intercultural communication. Measures of intercultural communication apprehension and ethnocentrism are significantly and negatively correlated with the measures of uncertainty reduction and communication satisfaction, according to James Newlip's study in 2012. Studies have been conducted to determine the differences in the uses of uncertainty reduction strategies among varying ethnicities. A study conducted in the United States suggests that significant differences are apparent. Self-disclosure as a pan-cultural effect on attributable confidence, but other types of uncertainty reduction strategies appear to be more cultural specific. Results of the study compares verbal behaviors and perceptions, intracultural interactions, and intercultural interactions during the initial communication, which suggests that intercultural interactions may not be as dissimilar from intracultural interactions or has been traditionally assumed. As of today, uncertainty reduction theory, the evolution of it has provided newer ways to study URT. URT has made a very important contribution to the field of communication, even if it does not fully explain the communication in initial encounters between strangers. Over the years, the application of URT has been expanded further by scholars. As the theory continues to evolve, more axioms have been added that deal with information gained. And lastly, URT has been criticized for its premise that uncertainty drives people's communication behavior. Thank you.